So we go to do Git Clone, right? All right. So what we want to clone from this link, right? We try to learn Git Command, right? https://github.com/CSC200, right? https and then we slash with the calculator dot get. Alright, so it's cloning into calculator folder. So you see when I do ls, there's no calculator, right? Now I'm going to do ls again. There you go. It's just copy, right? Copy the whole folder into my local now. So if you look at cd calculator, now you should have access to all the files on the server. Pretty much this is just showing you have learned so far how to publish your work, right? Now this command pretty much just show you how to download back into your local. Make sense? To use Git Clone. Alright, so now if I want to make changes, so let's look at Git help again. So we did try Git Clone, right? So for the init meaning like now I'm in calculator, right? So if I want to make a new directory, right, for the new project, let's say our project today that we have to do, if you read the questions, it asks to find the rectangle.java, prompt the user to input width and height, and then you just return the perimeter and the area of the rectangle. Okay, so I want to create this project to submit, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to make the directory name rectangle, right? Just like create a new project, right? So I'm going to cd into it. So I'm showing you how to use Git Init, right? Now this is not, it's still empty, right? You see nothing to show. So how are we going to make this as a Git repository? So we have to do Git Init. So it's just initialize empty Git, right? That makes sense. So let me be on the Unix, right? So when we start to do type the program, we just do vi, right, or vim, right, and then we just follow by the file name, which is rectangle.java. Okay, so we start to write program public class rectangle. Now we're going to save this program, right?
Public class.
Hey professor, you know how before this, up until like 2.5 and stuff, like the codes were easier to do on Windows rather than Mac. Since this is like Linux, like would it be easier to do it on a Mac than a Windows? Do you get what I'm trying to say?
I'm talking about Ubuntu here. So this is a terminal on Ubuntu, okay? I mean, if you want to use Mac, you can do the same with VI. Yeah, I know what you mean by that, but like you talk about Mac is Unix. Yeah, you can do the same command. Okay. But you have an option to use any OS, but I just show you on Ubuntu. Okay. Like I would recommend you do the same, just use Ubuntu. Okay. Alright, so now come back to Git command, right? Any question on Git Init and Git Clone? Because I just covered that. So what's the difference between Git Clone and Git Init again?
Git Clone is copying the work.
Right, from existing Git repository. Git Init is to initialize the Git repository. Alright, now if you look at this, I don't have rectangle on my remote server yet, correct? If you look at my CSC200, look at all the repositories. Technically I have one from the other classes. So let's say I want to create a rectangle 2 on here, or let's name it geometric shapes then, okay? Then technically I need to create it here, right? New geometric calculator instead, okay? Because it's going to return parameters and area, correct? So I just hit create, right? So now I have the Git link. Okay, now how am I going to publish my file like rectangle.java to that geometric calculator without using your IntelliJ, right? Or the graphic user interface command? We're going to use all the command line. That's the question, correct?
All those ones that you showed us are one.
Right, we just learned Git Clone. You can copy it to your local. Now I want to publish that how, right? To the remote, right? So now we're looking at the second set of the Git command we call work on the current change. You can do add. You can add file contents to the index, okay? So MV is move or rename a file, reset current height, RM to remove the files. So let's do one at a time first. Let's look at add first. So what's Git Add? So we're gonna add rectangle.java. Okay. So if you remember when you use IntelliJ, when you want to publish the file, it's going to have the checkbox for you to pick which one you want to include, right? Correct? So this pretty much just the Git add, like you add the item to publish or to put on the remote server repository, right? Like, for example, I just do Git add. So this is the file that I want to put on the remote server, right? Now, how do I push that on the remote server? We have another set of command we call, let's look at another set here first. This is looking at the history and state, right? You have git log, show the logs of all the committing, but we didn't commit anything. So for example, if I put git log, it's going to say it doesn't have any commits yet. So what's git commits then? Another set commands say git commit record changes to the repository. Like now, if I want to commit my work to the remote repository, I have to use first git commit will record a change to your local, and then for collaboration I have to use push that work to remote. Okay, like now I have to do git commit and it's followed by -m to put a message. Like when you do IntelliJ, you have to put initial message.
Oh yeah.
So this is a place for it. The message like init.
Do you have to put that? Because in IntelliJ you have to.
Yeah, you should put it. Yes. Please tell me who you are. Now this is a place where you have to do config. Like it's try to record who push it. Okay. So I have to do git config and set the, pretty much just follow the instruction right there, followed by my email, right? And then we do git config again, followed by the name. All right, so we have email and the name. Okay. Now let's see if I try to do commit again. All right, so it's done. So if I do git log, it's going to show who committed. You see the author and the email that I just do config to set. It's going to show when, date and time, and the message. Right? This is called git commit. So what's that? What's git commit?
Commit?
It's
It's like updating any changes you made to it, right?
Yes.
No, commit doesn't push it. No, commit's like saving it, right?
Yeah, like saving. Why don't we use it saving? Because if you think about saving, like if you type a Word document, you make changes, you save it, replacing it. But git commit not replacing it. Like for example, I'm going to get the changes to my rectangle again, right?
Oh, is that why when you make a repository, like you can't commit again because there's already the repository created?
Your question is,
So on IntelliJ, after you commit it once, you can't commit it again because the repository is already made. Like it won't allow you. It'll be like, oh, it's already made. I think. Is that why or no?
No.
That's not true.
I think your questions, your thought is different. Yeah. All right, now I make changes on my file. So I'm gonna say I want to prompt the user, right, to provide the width and height, correct? So we're gonna use text input dialog again. Use JavaFX, right? If I use JavaFX, then I cannot do main, right? We're going to use JavaFX here, right? Text input dialog. So this is, let's put some initial message. Oh yeah, enter your height. Let me just type this for now. Yeah. All right. So I have to make changes from this one, right? Or I could use the add. I'm gonna add. So let's insert line below. What's the command for that? Insert line below.
Insert line below. Isn't it
No. The VI command.
Oh. That's a very good question.
To do what?
Insert one line below. Remember we have the cheat sheet, right? Unix command cheat sheet for VI cheat sheet, right? I insert, right? But let's look at You go to cheat sheet. And we talk about, this is a Git cheat sheet, right? This is Unix. And this is basic VI commands, right? So when you start to use VI, we were learning how to use some of the key here, right? Like now, I want to insert one line below. Like we know insert text. So you can do O, right? New line above. Below it's going to be lowercase o. Like now. There you go. See that? Lowercase o. The reason I want to insert because I want to do public void start, right? And actually I need to do annotation first, right? So let's do annotation override. That's the JavaFX, right? And what else? Public void start. What else? Stage. Primary stage. All right, now we go back to, what do we put here? This is actually where you start to put this context, right? So I want to cut this line and paste to that location. What do I do? What are the keys that I use on BI? Cut and paste.
Cut.
So if you do YY, it's yank, right? That's one way. And then you P, it paste, right? Copy and paste. And this one you can do DD, is delete the whole line. And then you insert line above. I mean, this is just one way to cut and paste, but there's another way too. Okay. So I need to type what launch ARGS, right? If you want to use JavaFX and you want to have main in a console, this is like in the terminal, right? So in the VI, you want to add that live code to like public static void main, and then inside that, just type launch ARGS. Now you can go back. You can go back to start to type, finish the code inside your start. Okay, let's insert the line under. Text input dialog. So how do I make it to show? And also it's going to returns, right? Optional, right? Actually this has to be in here. String, right? Optional string, and then we have to say, what do you have to say? Optional string and then result. Okay, have to have space, right? Result equals to text input dialog dot show and wait. So we get a result and put a result. After that, what do we do? All right, let's say we pause at this start and we want to run into the dinner time. What you want to do? You want to commit. So let's do that, right? Keep committing your work. So I'm going to write and quit. So we talk about Git again. So we're done with Java. We want to, we save the file when I do WQ, right? But why we want to commit? Think about. Let's commit. And I put a message. I said, okay, add input dialog, right? With JavaFX. Can I just commit? It said no, not yet. Why? Because you make changes. Remember when you make changes, you also have to go back and add every time. Remember before we commit, we have to git add, right? So we have to git add. What do we want to add? Like tangle, right? So git add pretty much just going to stages the file that you prepare to commit. Alright, we're done with git add. Now we run the git commit again. Okay, so the file change add input dialog. That's it. Now if I want to see, now I can go to eat my lunch, come back, I look at git log. See that? So git save will replace the old one, right? But git log, git commit will give you the timeline of your history of this file, right? So first we start init. Second, I add input dialog, right? And you can, let's look at what do we have now. If you go to cat is the command to display the right contents of the file, like the Unix command. So what's the contents of the file? Rectangle.java, right? So this is the changes, right? If you decide that, hey, I don't want to use JavaFX now, I want to use scanner, you technically can revert back to the init part. Make sense? Right, so let's look at Git help. So let's try if I want to use git reset. It said reset current head to the specified state. Alright, what is head? Okay, let's do git log first. So these are the commits, right? This is the first commit, second commit, who committed, date and time, and the message, right? So let's say if I want to look at git status, I try to show you the history here, right? They have git show, git log, git status, show the working tree status. Like git status is pretty much clean. So let's look at this. If I create a new file, or just use the old file again, vi rectangle.java, right? Now I start to make changes again. I want to, what's next for this program?
It's a string option equals input.get.
Okay, string input equals to result.get. The reason why I didn't say string option because remember for the previous assignment I asked you to option 1 and 2, right? So it's just the variable's name.
Alright. So
Now I just happen to change the variable to input.
Okay.
And the reason I don't use input at get because my optional is an instance name result. So I do result at get. That makes sense? It's just the name. So I technically get whatever the user input right here, right? But do I want it as string? No, because I might want to calculate, right? So it's width and height. Width and height could be double. So double width equals to,
Yeah, if it doesn't mind telling you.
you want to parse, right? Double dot parse double input. Okay?
I'm sharing it to get the
And what I'm going to do, I'm going to rename input a little bit to be a better name. Let me say with input, right? All right. So I'm going to do need to run this program and see what happens first. But again, I'm going to write this one, save, exit. Now we want to learn about Git Command again. So let's do Git diff first. So Git diff is going to be, it's a diff here, show changes between commits and working tree. So what does it mean? Let's do git status. So git status is showing the working tree here. Remember when I typed git status before, it said on branch master, nothing to commit, working tree clean. Why? Because I just commit earlier. If you look at the history here, if I go back a little bit, I have just commit before git help, right? I do everything and I just commit right there, right? After I commit, I just show git log. It show all the commits, right? History. And then I just do look at the file that I make changes. I just look at git help to look at the command. I didn't do anything else. I type git log again. I show the git status. That's why it's clean. Whenever you commit, it's gonna be clean, right? That you move from the add, which is stages, to the git repo, right? So now, when you come down here, I start to make changes. I open VI, make changes, add those clean. You see that? When you git diff, it's going to show you the changes, the difference. Like I added space between two methods. So if I do commit now, it's going to do all those plus in the green items right there to the repo. When I type git status, that's why the working tree is not clean. It says changes, not stages. Stages mean I need to do git add to stage it. Stages just prepare to put on the repo after you commit.
45. One.
Any questions so far? Alright, so I show you git diff. So let's look at, we see git log already. Let's look at git status, we see it. it's going to show the working tree, right? Git help again. What else we want to look at? Git show. So let's try git show. Alright, git show is going to show the log. Git log, right? The latest log. Now this is going to be the head. Head means pretty much the latest commit. That's the git head. Okay?
Like that's the accounts that it commits to.
Head always just the latest commit. And it's going to show all the diff too. That is pretty much just show the diff for you right here. So this one pretty much just the file. It's just show the file on the repo, right? Which has no changes that we just added later. So that's just git show. Pretty much just show the commit and whatever it was commit. And then this is the checksum. Pretty much just this is use SHA-1, SHA-1 encryption. Pretty much just a code for that commit, like an ID for that. Alright, so let's look at Git help again. So we were talking about Git Clone, Git Init, Git Add, Git Log, Git Show, Git Status. And we're going to be talking about Git Commit and Git Diff. Now, I need to do Git Commit again, right? To commit the changes that I make. But before I do a Git Commit, I have to do a Git Add, right? Like Tangle. And then I do Git Commit. What do I commit? I have to do -m for the message, right? So I'm going to add the message again. Add what? Parsers forward input to double. So also I'm done, right? So now if I look at Git log, there are 3 commits so far. And now the head is going to be, where's the head? It's going to be the latest commit right there.
Wait, what percent? I'm sorry, because my stomach is killing me right now.
This is Git head now, the latest commit.
So is that like the confirmation code or something?
Yeah,
Okay.
like the sum, check sum.
Okay.
Alright. Let me compile the code. Oh, it's not going to work because I didn't add import yet, right? So let's make changes to it first. Vim. I mean, let's use VI, right? So let's add the import statement. So first one is what class rectangle supposed to extend application to. So javafx dot application, correct? Next one, javafx dot stage. Is that right? Next one, where's the input dialog again? TextInputDialog. What package?
Scene control.
scene dot control dot text input dialog, right? We also have to import what java.util.optional, correct? Import what next? I spelled double long. What else do we need to import? That's it, right? So now I just need to fix my code. Extends application, because this is JavaFX, right? And what else? Double is long. BLE, right? Okay. So let's recompile. I never compiled, so let's compile rectangle.java. Expect some errors. Input. Alright. Because I changed it to with input, right? So let's go back and fix that with input, not input. All right. So let's recompile it again. All right, no errors. So let's run the program. All right, so we get the dialog box, right? Box geometric calculator. So the default should be like enter width, something like that, right? All right, so now, assuming that, of course it's gonna be an error because I have it as string, where it's parsed, it's gonna be an error, right? But let's say this one is not on my Git yet, right? So I want to push this into this. How do I do that? Okay. So if you go back to the Git help, that's one we call push update remote reference along with associated objects. So that's what we want to do. But before we push, we have to do, we did commit already. If you want to make sure you can do git status, no, git git show or git status, right? Is this clean? Oh yeah, you have to do modified it. You're right. Then I will git add because I make imports, right? And make some error change. So you're gonna do git commit again with the message add import statements, right? And fix errors. Okay. So I did commit. Let's check git status again. See that this is .class. Remember I told you Git Add just like you check which file you want to include. You don't have to include .class, right? So now we're gonna do git push, but before you can push, you have to do tell where to push to. So we should have, let's type git help again. I don't see that command. So we go look at your git cheat sheet. Okay. So some of the commands that we have covered already, like git init, git status, git add. Now git add is like you check, right, the files that you want to include. Git rm just remove, like uncheck it. Like if you decide not to check in rectangle.java, just say git rm that catch and followed by file name rectangle.java. We talk about Git Commit. This is another way to add when you add more than one files. Like if you want to add 2 or 3 Java files, you just do star.java. Or you can do git add -- all. Git log, we talked about that. Now this is the Git Remote that I'm looking for. They don't have under Git Add right there. I mean Git help. So we have to put Git Remote at origin and followed by the path to the URL. So Git Remote at origin. And what's the path? https://github.com/CSC200/geometric calculator.get. Right? So let's verify that one more time. Did I type it correctly? Geometric calculator.get. There you go. Alright, so we add the remote. So let's look at cheat sheet again. You probably need to push now. Git push dash origin master. That's how you push, okay? Okay. So there's a problem with master. Let's verify. It said git push that origin master. Master does not appear to be a Git repository. Could not read from remote repository. So we said git remote at origin. github.com geometric calculator.get. Let me verify again. This is also show you command right here too. So we do git. Let me do git log to make sure we commit everything. Okay. So we have that. And then it said you have to do git remote at origin, which we did. Git push dash u origin master. Let me do one more time. Push. Oh, I'm missing dash u. That's why. So I'm missing dash u here. I just do the at origin. Alright, so it's prompt for username for GitHub, right? And now prompt for a password for your GitHub. Alright, so it's pretty much done. So now what it did, master is pretty much just is pushed to the master branch. Like whenever you create the Git repository, this is going to be a master branch. There you go. So the code that we have is now online. So that pretty much taken care by IntelliJ IDEA when you do that. VCS import into github.com. But behind that, these are all the commands that you have to do. That makes sense? Now you are required to submit this way. For this, use the command line to do that. right? Use the Git command to do that. And it's pretty much the instruction again. You can look through your course under class exercises. There are two things that you have to do, okay, for this section. First, I want you to create an account at Code School. And then finish Git tutorial. Level 1 and level 2. Alright, so let's go to Code School, right? So that's the first thing. And then you can log in. After you create account, you can create free account. And you can log in to Code School, right? So I want you to take this Git course. Okay. They have Git Real and Git Real 2, so these two level.
And then
Mastering GitHub.
Will you actually be a master after that? Or
Yeah.
She will clone and fork your repos faster than you can blink, and then tag, push and pull requests while pouring a drink. She's
So I want you to try that.
Promote her skills, but it's the branching and the merging which will pay all the bills. Your only chance to find her is to use a workflow. Commit to a release and you can access control. You'll be pushing past security to join her at the club, just to catch a glimpse of her master and get her.
Yeah, you want to do that.
You're watching level 1 of Mastering GitHub.
Alright.
I know what I'm doing tonight.
So I want you to pretty much just go through those three sections.
She
Let
will
me
clone and
pause
fork your
them.
repos.
I'm gonna play like rock music in the background.
yeah.
What did you say?
What?
What did you say?
Just ask me for my social security number. It's a scam.
So just follow this instruction, right? After that, you pretty much just need to download Git, right? Like I said, I show you if you use the terminal or Ubuntu. If you use your PC, Git Bash, you already have that, right? If not, you just need to do those instruction and write the rectangle application, just like the way I did. Just complete that, right? And then you can compile and run the Java program like you used to do as usual. And then you want to submit that onto github.com. And you also want to snapshot. After you complete its tutorial on Code School, they're going to have a trophy for you. So you want to get that certificate and submit those. Make sense?
Is that the next one?
Because after you go through this, you pretty much is going to be better in Git. Like now, you first time seeing me showing you, but after you go through the tutorial, it's going to have hand-ons that you have to do follow. It's going to help that. All right?
Right.
Oh, never mind. Except the code, yeah. Like, other than